Welcome to another daily dose of Greatness Quest. This is Trevor Crane, and today's subject is about how you can go from invisible to instant expert. I know you're going to love the show. Specifically, I'm going to talk to you about how my wife went from $500 a month $500 in income in a year to $500,000 in just 2 years. So if you'd like 1,000% increase, then I think you're going to love today's show.
Cowboy.
Welcome to a daily dose of greatness quest with your host Trevor Crane, my daddy. He is going to help you take your life and business to the next level.
Here I come to save the day.
Trevor Crane here, 11-time #1 best-selling author and the founder of Epic Author Publishing, coming to you live every day so you can plug in every day to build your ideal business so you can live your ideal life.
If my daddy can do it, then anybody can do it because he's a weirdo.
You're supposed to make me sound cool. So guys, I'm excited to share with you today's episode because for the last couple of days, I've been working with my wife on this talk that she's planning on giving called Invisible to Instant Expert. And the cool thing is this addresses two challenges that we all have as business owners and as marketers. Our core challenge and your core challenge is that nobody knows who you are. It's obscurity. I know Grant Cardone talks about this a lot, and he's like, that's our biggest challenge, is what we're looking for is to get people's attention. And so the other way to looking at this is that you are invisible, that you want to connect with clients and people that are on social media, let's say, or wherever they are in the world, and they don't know you exist. And how you can transition from that into becoming an instant expert, at least to a core audience that you want to connect with. And I think this is really cool. Adrian, hey man, nice to see you. For those of you who are listening on my podcast or watching the video, I'm recording this live on Facebook right now. So I'm kind of excited about this. I'm going to be giving you the 4 steps that you need to use to leverage social media, to attract ideal clients, to try to find to become in demand and to become an instant expert instead of chasing clients. So I think you're going to like this. I'm going to go ahead and write on this board here so that I can give you the strategies. So in 2014, my wife, and Adrian, maybe you could tell me, is my text backwards today? I tried to align it so that it's not backwards, but at any rate, in 2014, my wife lifted her head up, and after having spent a lot of time connecting, working on products and courses and funnels and the hottest social media things at the time, like, hey, maybe she should try this and maybe she should try that. And I also was working with her and advised her during that time frame. And when we are creating something, there's this crazy tendency to forget to move into money-making activities or to go ahead and even tell the world and promote what it is that we've got. So my wife had totally fallen into this pattern. And she looked up at the end of 2014 and she'd made $500. And she recognized that all of the programs and things that she'd created, all the courses, all the logos, all the brands, all of the videos that she'd made, she'd done almost no marketing. Like nobody knew who she was. And thank you, the text is fine. I'm glad that you can read that. And so one of the main things, and hold on, she's going to be on stage in Chicago. And so one of the things she said is the #1 thing that you and I have to do, and that she had to figure out to do, is that she's got to stretch. So this is a rubber band. She just bought these purple rubber bands for her exercise so she can stand up on stage. And look how big this is. Like, it can go around your whole body. And so she's got this exercise, and it's called comfort zone. So I could draw up a circle of a comfort zone. I've been in this room for like 48 hours helping my wife with this presentation. So I've drawn comfort zone like a million times. So she's one of the pages I have up. So there's this thing that I heard from T. Harv Eker the first time. This rubber band represents comfort zone, by the way. And it was a circle. He drew a circle and he said, everything you have right now is inside of your comfort zone. And everything you want that you don't have is outside of it. So my question for you is, while you're watching this or listening to this, I would ask you, what is it that you want that you don't have? And my wife's example at one stage in one of the stories she's going to tell is that there was a time when she was struggling to get by as a financial advisor. And she had grown a lot to actually get to the stage where she could become a good financial advisor, just like I'm sure you have gone through phases where you wanted to learn something, you wanted to become an expert at something, you wanted to get good at it, and so you practiced and you got good, and then you reached a certain success level, and she had reached a certain success level. She became a financial advisor, but she was only making $2,000 a month. Now she had all this education. She was confident. She'd done all these things. She had pushed and stretched herself up to her comfort zone. She'd reached a new level of success, and then she stagnated. And $2,000 a month is hardly stagnation. That's like hardly getting by. She lived in San Francisco at the time, and the challenge is that doesn't even pay the bills. So the strategy here is to take comfort zone and recognize that it's our job to stretch. And so what she wanted to do, and my question to you was to consider, what is it that you want that you don't have? So she wanted to make $100,000. And that was really scary for her. That was a big stretch. And so in order to do that, though, she looked around, and the system and the processes that everybody had given her, her whole financial advisory team, had helped her make $2,000 a month. And they're like, keep going. You're doing great. And she's like, I do not think this is great. I need to push myself now. It was uncomfortable because a couple of mentors that were in her business were saying, hey, go do these things. But she'd done them, and she'd done them well, and she'd only received a certain level of success. So she had to think outside the box to make that $100,000. And what she did is she found a mentor. And this is scary, scary shit. Because when we hire the right mentor, like a top coach, you're gonna invest some money with them. And this is a scary thing because we don't want to spend money, especially when you don't have it. But she knew that was something that she needed to stretch. So long story short is that she found a mentor. So my biggest secret for you to help you go from invisible to instant expert is to remember that your job is to keep expanding your comfort zone and to keep stretching. The example my wife's going to give when she comes to this training, she's going to have somebody sit on stage. And imagine if I was pulling this rubber band back, and how it would feel if it was like around your head. Like, there's some scary stuff. It's scary to stretch. But what happens is when you compare this rubber band, see, once you stretch your comfort zone, it never goes back to what it began. And so, number one is you need to stretch your comfort zone. Number two is you got to find a mentor. You got to be willing to do things that are uncomfortable. Holy crap. When people come to me and they are not willing to be uncomfortable, like my daughter doesn't want to try anything that she's never done before because she doesn't want to feel uncomfortable. And I get it. As adults, I think we're worse. And so you got to make sure you push yourself. And for my wife, it was pushing herself to invest, and it was pushing herself to go ahead and do things that she wasn't comfortable doing. Well, within a short period of time, she took her fees from $200. I think she was charging $250 at one stage, and she raised her fee to $9,000. Then she, within a year, she broke the $100,000. And then she got better and better and better until she got comfortable in her comfort zone again. And then she stagnated. She let her mentor go. She said, hey, I can handle this myself. And her business started doing worse until she lifted up her head. She only made $500, and she'd forgotten the principles. She'd forgotten to stretch herself. She'd forgotten to push. So I want to go ahead and share with you the things that you can do so what she went ahead and did at that stage is she recognized it. She opened her mind to it and said, I need to stretch myself. I need to do the things that are not comfortable. I'm making this video today, and I'm doing my daily podcast because it is not comfortable. I don't want to do it. I want to be doing something else on a Sunday. I promise you. That's the day I'm recording this if you're listening to this on replay. I want to do something else, but I want to also push myself. There are goals that I want, and there's reasons why I'm going to do it and push myself to another standard. And then it becomes easier and easier because my rubber band gets bigger and bigger. You got that? So you got to find a mentor. So it's comfort zone plus mentor. That's just at a bare minimum. And then let me give you the 4 steps so you can get out of here. I wanted this to be a brief training, and I think I went on too long there. So let me share this with you real quick. The cool thing about this is I'm going to give it to you in steps. And I think the video will show that whole thing. Let me just adjust this. Okay. I might have to get down here a little bit because I think it's just cut off my head. Okay, I'm going to do this really fast. You're going to love this. So the number one thing about leveraging social media, we're going to just give you 4 steps right here. But the number one thing that you got to do, and I'm reading the book Expert Secrets right now, which is a phenomenal book. If you don't have that book by Russell Brunson, like, holy crap, like, this is just a playbook that you should totally follow along and use. in order to go to Instant Expert, let me just talk to you about that for a second. I'm going to give you these 4 steps. But Instant Expert, some people doubt that they have an expertise in something. And I've been now helping people write books. These are a few of my books that I've written where I help people craft a message and write the right book and make big money with it and put what you do best in a book. Like I promise you, you are great at certain things and just the world doesn't know about it. So let's go ahead and figure out how you can go ahead and become in demand for them. So number 1 is you've got to go ahead and answer the question, who do you want to help? I know this seems really basic, so you might be pissed at me today and be like, dude, like, why am I paying attention to this such a basic question? Who? But I can't tell you how important this question is. When my wife finally decided to do some marketing on social media, to put out a message and stop doing all the things that didn't make her money, she went ahead and said, I want to work, and drew the line in the sand and said, screw it. Instead of working with everybody, instead of working with business owners, I want to work with female entrepreneurs. When she did that, she put out a marketing campaign on Facebook, and I think she made $3,500 like in a month, and she was really happy about that. And one of the things that she needed to do to keep stretching her comfort zone is she then was like, okay, well, this worked. How can I make it better? So we went ahead and invested in somebody that was phenomenal at online marketing on Facebook. And one of the first questions they asked us, one of the first questions I ask when I'm helping somebody craft a book, one of the first questions Russell Brunson talks about in Expert Secrets is, who are you going to help? This is the most important thing. And as my wife got more clarity around it, she worked with these first mentors, and I think they were like $60,000 a year. It was over $5,000 a month, plus a percentage of the upside. It was a huge investment. That was a huge stretch. We were really scared. But inside the first month, we realized that my wife preferred to work with at the time financial advisors, women financial advisors. So when she targeted her marketing on that, she made $35,000. So you can do the math on this one. She went from $3,500 to $35,000, but she got clearer in her marketing and her messaging about who she wanted to help. Like, I think it is a freaking awesome thing that most of the time people forget. Lisa Chastain is one of my clients, and she wrote this book called Girl, Get Your Shit Together. When she came to me and she first started working with my wife, she was losing money every month because she was just doing non-money making activities and losing money for 2 years. She'd taken $100,000 out of her savings, and she'd almost tapped everything. And when she started working with us, she was really coachable. My wife said, who do you want to work with? And Lisa was like, well, I think I really like to work with millennial women that have some challenges around money and whatnot. And my wife was like, well, cool, let's go for it. She got clarity around it. But Lisa was like, I don't have a website. I don't have a brand. I don't have a book. I don't even know. I've only worked with them a little bit. Like, I think I want to work with them. She was just scared. But what she did is she got clear about millennial women. And then over the next year, well, she went out and took massive action. She employed these 4 things I'm going to give you today. She went ahead and went from losing money to making money. I think she made like $40,000 in 4 months. And then in 2017, I interviewed her because I helped her write this book. She averaged $15,000 a month in 2017. And then she's only getting better and better. She's in Oprah magazine. She's now written this #1 best-selling book. She's been featured as a major she's in Entrepreneur magazine. She got asked to become a keynote speaker in front of a big women's conference, all because she had the courage to begin with who she wanted to work with. So who is your best client? Who do you want to serve? And I'll give you a little hint here. It might be the person that is staring back at you in the mirror when you're brushing your teeth just a couple years ago. Before you'd figured this stuff out, whatever this stuff is that you want to help them with. And that's one of the secrets that I give when I'm helping people craft a book. You got to know who your audience is. So that's number 1. Number 2, and this is also something that you got to figure out. Why do they care? And there's 2 parts of why. What are the problems that you solve, or the problems that they have, and the results that you deliver? When my wife figured this out with one of her clients, Jessica Weaver, and I have her book here. It's somewhere, but I think my wife took it actually on her trip to Chicago. I also helped Jessica write her book and clarify her message to her ideal client. Jessica had started a blog, and before she came to us, she had like maybe 600 views a month at her blog. within a short period of time when not only did she get clear about the who, but she got clear about the problems she solved, the results she delivered, and she started giving that message to her ideal client. She went to tens of thousands. I think it was like 16,000 people or 30,000 people started viewing her blog in just a month or two. And now she's crafted a phenomenal brand and business and whatnot because she got clear about two things here. Let me use a different pen if I can write it up here and make it stand out. Problems and results. And I'll be more specific about this. My wife, gosh, I'm just using books. You might notice that I like helping people write books. So my wife put on her book, like we ask and answer that question of who and what and why in a cover in all of the copy that we put on side of it. So on the back of my wife's book, we talk about the problems that her ideal client has, that women who work too hard for too little, feel overwhelmed about their business, struggle to break through their financial ceiling, then this book is for you. So we bullet pointed problem, the core problem that her ideal client is having. And then she's helping them in this book. It's a female entrepreneur's guide to attract ideal clients, result, close more sales, result, increase your revenue, result. And then the book is actually called Help Make More Money, Help More People, because you can't help more people if you don't make more money. And so problems and results. Let's go on to number 3. Once you get clarity about who you want to help and why they are going to care and listen, you need to know what to say. This is all about your messaging. Okay? So it's who, why, and what. What are you going to say? Like this is market. I'm sorry, I didn't want to put what. I wanted to put where. I'm still punch drunk. Where do they hang out? This is market. Who do you want to market to? Who do you want to help? Why do they care? This is message. And then where do they hang out? This is the media. My wife and I just were looking last night at some of the clients that we tell stories about, and sometimes she found them on Facebook. I'm going to move this camera just a little bit so I don't have to bend over. Sometimes you found them on Facebook. I'm talking to you right now on Facebook if you're watching this live. But oftentimes she found some of her best clients on LinkedIn. So where do your ideal clients hang out? Because that is the media. And there's also something called a marketing triangle. And on that is like market, media, and message. And if you, please, Adrian, check out, just shoot me a private message here and I'll give you my contact information. And then you can set up a time to talk to me and I can see if I can help you in our mentoring program. But there's something called a marketing triangle. And it's market, media, and message. And every time you change like one of those, you've got to change the other. Like if you change your market, you've got to change your message. And if you're going to talk to them on a different media, on a different platform, there's a different way of talking on Twitter than on LinkedIn, than on YouTube, than on Facebook, than whatever. And people don't realize that. That's the marketing triangle. I guess that'll be another thing that I'll give you. That's your market, your media, and your message. Change any one of those, and you got to change everything. And then, Adrian, if you wanted to book a call right on my calendar, I might go ahead and let's text message each other. And by the way, if anybody else is watching this or listening to this and you'd like to connect with me about my mentoring program, please just reach out to me. You can go to trevorcrane.com. You can find me on social media. When I'm doing a live training like this, sometimes like Adrian's asking right now to connect with me, I'll just reach out and say hi. I'll probably have you watch a webinar before we show up and listen to a video. So when we jump on the phone, I want to make sure you get as much out of our time together as possible. So I used to just jump on the phone with everybody at any time, and then we just talk a lot and not get as much done. So you can always reach out to me and ask for help, and I'd love to support you. So it's who, it's why, it's where. And then the last thing I'll give you, and this is, I don't know that any one of these is the most important. I do know if you don't have all of them, you're screwed. The most important, well, I just said, there's not one most important thing, but it's what do you want them to do next? So if you are going to put messaging out, if you're going to go from invisible to visible, if you're going to go from invisible to in demand, if you're going to go from invisible to becoming an instant expert, you need to be in front of people. You need to know who you want to be in front of, what you're going to say so that they can actually hear you, where they hang out, and then when you're talking to them, You want to give them a call to action. Like, what do you want them to do next? Adrian's watching this live, and one of the things I like to do is have people talk to me. I want you to talk to me. I could give Adrian a link right now. I could give you a link if you're listening to this, and if you look at some of my other podcasts, I do that from time to time. I'm like, hey, if you want to know more about this, go here and do that. I need to know what is the next step. But on today's video, I didn't want to do it where I'm trying to be salesy, and I'm like, hey, trying to get you to take action, but there's always this underlying action. Like, what do I want you to do next? I hopefully want you to watch the training, get some value, ask for help. Notice that I started off today's training telling you about, give me 1 second, stretching outside your comfort zone, doing something you don't like, and how I told the story of my wife, who went ahead and found a mentor who called and asked for help. They booked a coaching session that said, can you help me stretch and get clear about what has to happen in order to grow? My wife did this what's next step with one of her clients. Her name is Denise. And we actually tell all these stories in my wife's book here. But Denise was a successful financial advisor that came to my wife, and she was doing good stuff. Like, she's already making over $1 million a year, and she was doing really, really well. But she went to my wife, and she knew that there were things that she was missing in trying to become in demand and get more clients and really grow her business to the next level that she wanted to. And she said, what do I need to do? So what she realized is she was getting some people to go to her website, but she didn't know what to tell them to do next. So my wife helped her craft a 1-minute video. And it wasn't just an idea. My wife doesn't sit down with someone and we don't just talk about ideas. Ideas are cheap. Ideas are crap. Everybody's got them and nobody does shit. So what implementation and execution is worshipped. So my wife helped her craft the message, make the video, put it on her website. Look, blows me away. Like, you actually did it. Like, it wasn't just, yeah, I should put a video on my website. I want you to say, what should the message be? What are the problems and results that I address? There are all these questions that give us reasons not to get it done. But my wife just did it at an event. And a 1-minute video made Denise $6 million. $6 million because it captured an audience of someone who said, oh my gosh, this is me. Denise is talking right to me. She's addressing my problems. She's talking about results I want. Denise put the message out on a media that where it connected, and then she told them what to do next. And she closed $6 million because she sold her business. Okay, so that's it. To go from instant expert or invisible to instant expert, you need to figure out how to clarify your message so that it attracts your ideal client. And you need to put that message in front of them. And there's a lot of cool ways that you can do that these days with spending money on marketing or doing no money on marketing. It's just getting clarity about it. And if you like today's show and you go to iTunes, if you're listening to this on podcast, and give us some love. If you're on YouTube, make sure you subscribe. And if you would like to get some help in our mentoring program and getting a book done, in clarifying your message, if you just want to talk or chat or whatnot, then chat me. But if you have a real genuine question and you actually want some help, chat me and ask to connect. And then we'll go ahead and I'll find out how to help you bridge the gap between where you are and where you want to go. And that's all I got for you today. Thank you very much, Adrian. That was awesome. And I want to know a little bit more about your business, the challenges you got going on. But chat me privately here and we can go ahead and talk about it. And then we should be talking later this week. Okay, that was awesome. Thank you for your participation today, brother. And everybody else, make today magnificent. I can't wait to talk to you soon.
To get even more awesomeness, which means all my best stuff, download my app by texting Trevor to 36260. It will show up right on your cell phone. Just text message the word Trevor to 36260. Talk to you soon.